folks, here we are, sat in Rosie, and we've just done 2 weeks just about in the Highlands, and I think the actual total mileage that we've ended up doing door to door, I think is 2,700 and something, and it's the first big journey we've done in the Rover. So we didn't know what to expect because I've only ever really used it for work and the odd day out. So it was his first proper test. And how I judge a car a lot of the time, even brand new stuff, and I'm very fortunate to be able to get to drive some proper high-end luxury cars, and the first thought that goes through my mind is, would I drive it to the Highlands? And having done the trip in Rosie, yep, very, very comfortable, as I knew Rover 75s were. I've done the trip once before in a 75, and that was a 2-litre V6 that was owned by my uncle. That was an early car, a 99 V-Reg, and apart from being extremely comfortable, it was very thirsty. And Rosie's completely the opposite, because I managed to fix the fuel sender, as many of you know, not the sender, the scavenger pipe, etc., because that was just floating in the tank. So when it got to a quarter tank, it would pack up, but I replaced both the pumps, etc., etc. And at one point she did do over 600 miles on one tank, because I reset the trip about 77 miles in, and then logged the mileage from there. And of course, when I was looking at the tripometer and where the fuel gauge was, because the fuel light was on, and many of you know with these diesel 75s, the fuel light, it can be on all week because it varies with how you drive. So the fuel gauge is more like a range gauge more than anything, because it adapts to your driving. If you thrash it, the range comes right down. You think you're going through fuel like nobody's business, and you're not. It's just your style of driving. But I'd say half the trip up is, you know, we use main roads mainly. Don't do a lot of motorway anymore. I mean, we use the A1M, which is fine. Traffic's still pretty light. And we went up there, and then we go up the A68, which, if you haven't been up the A68 to get up to sort of Edinburgh, it's a great road. You've got to use it, because things like the M6 and the A1 are mind-numbingly boring, and the A68 is like a proper road. You really have to drive it. There's like, it's a national speed limit, most of it, but there's blind crests, proper roller coaster dips and humps and bumps and stuff like that, and it's just a much more enjoyable route. What would it be like in truly bad weather? I dread to think, because we've been through it in torrential rain and floods and stuff like that, and it's an adventure. If nothing else, it keeps you on your toes. But we were fortunate enough this time to see snow in a lot of places, especially up Scotland when we were there. With Ben Nevis, Glencoe, it snowed while we were there. It snowed on the way to Mallaig and places like that. Across the Isle of Skye it snowed, and we've always wanted to see it in the snow. So we ticked a lot of boxes. But as a summary, I'm going to put up a load of pictures and very, very short videos, which we did when we were there, because I thought I was going to sort of do a motorlog every day, and it didn't work out like that because I was ill for a bit of it, and I don't really want to intrude on anybody else's holiday, because you're supposed to be relaxing. So we took a lot of photographs, and it was the first time we took Ernie dog, so we didn't know how he was going to travel, because the furthest he'd ever done was about 75 miles, and he was asleep most of that. But we left Oxfordshire, and we did 120, 130 miles, and we had a break, and he got out and had a break and got straight back in his bed, all secured in. And the next time we stopped, I mean, that was about Derbyshire, North Derbyshire, where we stopped. And the next time we stopped, we were actually near Otterburn Camp on the A68. And he did, that's like another 150 mile at least up. And then we didn't really stop again until we were actually in the Highlands. We were well past Stirling, because the dog was just asleep. And if we can carry on, he can carry on. If he needed to stop, we would stop. But yeah, the first lock we came to, visitor centre, we stopped there for a break for ourselves, and the dog was straight in the lock. No fear of water at all. He's on a lead. So he went for a splash, but the car did really well. I was expecting it to be a bit of a hub nut experience, and this brake, that needed adjusting, this needed doing, but it never used a drop of oil, never used a drop of coolant, no faults whatsoever. And I did the engine mounts the Saturday before we left, and at one point it looked like we weren't going to get there. I was going to film it, but the job quickly went breasts vertical, because what I did, and it is entirely my fault, I took the T-bar mounting off first, and then while I was had the car up on a ramp to get the under tray off, etc., I thought, oh, I will undo the bottom mount. No, big schoolboy error. Do not ever do it, because of course the engine moved. Even though I got it up on a jack, the engine supported, of course it moved, and it doesn't appear to move that much, but it did. So anyway, we came up with some ingenious bush engineering to get the engine in the right place, but at one point it looked like we weren't going to be able to use the car. The only criticism I've got of the Rover, does it need more power? No, not really. The amount of reviews I've seen where they say these Rover 75s, the diesels are slow, I don't understand it, because this has not been slow, and especially from about 50 to 80, you've got to watch yourself. They're fine. They're absolutely fine. Most of the time on the motorways and stuff, we were holding 2,000 revs. You could hardly hear it. You could hold a normal conversation. It was quiet enough for the dog to just fall asleep straight away. But the only criticism, I'd say lack of room. Now, I'm only 5'8". My partner's shorter, but we have plenty of room. What I mean by lack of room is, for such a big long car, the boot is not that deep, and there's not that much room in the back. Although we had passenger in the back and the dog, they were fine. They had plenty of room. In fact, the dog had the most room of everybody, and he wasn't complaining. The only other issue? Farts. This car smells like Battersea Kennels, plus the sewer underneath an Indian takeaway. Because obviously we've been sat in the car for nearly 3,000 miles. Farting, eating, the dog farting. A lot of the time we've actually sat in the car to have picnics and stuff, because it was just so cold. Really cold. I mean, the highest temperature I think we've seen was on the last day at 12 degrees, but mainly it's been around 3.5, snowing, sleeting. But the scenery makes up for everything. It's fantastic. When the sun comes out, it's lovely. But we had a pretty good north wind as well, and all that lot, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. You can keep your poolside holidays and your beach holidays and that lot. Scotland, especially the Highlands, the more north you go, the sort of more Icelandic you get. You see a lot of Viking influences, even in name places and stuff like that. And it's just a fantastic place, and it wasn't busy. Everywhere was open. everywhere. COVID wise, it was brilliant, very well organised, and you know, provided you do your bit, you'll enjoy yourself. It did not feel restricted at all. I thought the holiday would feel really restricted with having the dog and what have you, but if anything, he made the holiday, because it was his first big holiday and we didn't know how he was going to be, because obviously you're taking him out of his routine. But it was brilliant. He learnt to dog, which is great. Not that kind of dogging, filthy mind. But we had a great time. Really, really great time. But the car, faultless. Utterly faultless. It's been filled up, well, alright, probably 4 or 5 times to do that miles, because once you're up there, you're up and down the gearbox all the time. And these older automatics, if you've ever driven a brand new automatic like the 8-speed ZF, or the stuff in the Range Rovers, the Aston Martins, the Bentleys, you wouldn't know they've got gearboxes. They almost drive like an electric car. They're seamless. So the older gearboxes, you sort of know that you're in an older automatic. But the sport mode works really well on places like that. Didn't really harm fuel consumption. So would I do it again? In this car? Yeah, tomorrow. And I'll do it the day after and the day after that as well. Engine wise and everything else, it's been brilliant. The car's been brilliant. Bit uncomfortable in the last few hours, sort of the last 2 or 3 hours of travelling, but you've got a square arse by then, so you're going to be uncomfortable in anything. But we do share the driving and we swap seats and all that lot, and you can stretch out. But you know, we take everything but the kitchen sink, and I'm pretty sure if we could fit the kitchen sink, we'd take that too. So what follows after me rambling is just a series of just photos from the holiday, and there's a couple of the car and all this lot. But don't be afraid to take an older car on long journeys, as long as mechanically you know they're all right, you've serviced it, they're all right. Listen, machines break down. Any machine will break down, and some of the stuff we saw at the side of the road wasn't even a year old. And here we are in a 2002 Rover diesel, looked down on by everybody, pissed it. But a lot of people do notice the car, because I suppose if you're of a certain age, you probably don't know what it is. Rover have been gone a long time. We've even had people ask, is it a Bentley? Stuff like that, which sort of inwardly makes you laugh a little bit, but also makes you think, well, if you don't know your cars, you don't know your cars. You wouldn't have said it was a Jaguar. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, enjoy the video. And hopefully we'll be back up there again soon, because we really didn't want to come home. Cheers, guys. Enjoy. Morning, guys. Bit of a different one. It's daft o'clock in the morning. Not that daft. The sun's up. And a bit of a different one today, because we're off to Scotland. Yay! Somebody's waiting for his breakfast. Up near Otterburn, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's the A68, and we're very, very high up. Signing off. We've got snow on the mountains. Oh yes, there's still a bit of snow knocking about, and we're on the road to Tindrum at the moment, and it's bloody lovely. We've just had a shower, but there is snow still on top of the mountains. Bloody marvellous. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh yeah. Absolutely beautiful. we're actually approaching the world famous Bridge of Orkney, which is like a little white bridge. And usually we've got a tanker truck or something in front of us, or a wanker. Exactly on cue. I've got a rented BMW. How dare you? So this is the world famous Bridge of Orkney, and then you go through the bridge. It's quite narrow, and then you start climbing up, and there's a big lay-by at the top, and you can actually look down onto the valley you've just come up. And then we're onto Rannoch Moor, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I may just carry on filming for a moment. So don't say fuck. Oops. And don't go, heavy cow! Why? Or don't go, snow! Woolly jumpers on legs. Yes, we've had a few incidences with woolly jumpers on legs right at the side of the road. Buggers. Playing chicken. Right, we're now on the climb. And this is the climb out from the Bridge of Orkney. Very good road on a motorcycle, as long as it's not a Goldwing and you can't see where the bloody hell you're going because it's raining. Some nice induction noise there. And there's a motorcyclist. Oh yes, it's a Ewan and Charlie wannabe on his GS. Surprised he's not got his wife. And there's the Bridge of Orkney down there, look. Beautiful. Of course the video is not going to do this justice, you need to come and see it for yourselves. Because it's absolutely stunning. And the good roads as well. My ears have just popped. There's the lay-by, and nearly every time we've stopped at this lay-by here, there's a dedication to all the Munros in the lay-by, but nearly every time we've stopped we've always been met by a couple of coachloads of Chinese or Japanese, and they surround the car. Yes, I know, I can see snow. I can see it, you know, and you probably can't pick it up on camera very well at the moment, but we're on the climb to Rannoch Moor now, and there is snow here as well, which is probably on one of the Three Sisters. So I'll shut off and then start filming again when we're in Rannoch Moor. The pup has been an absolute nightmare. Not. Here we are. We're literally 2 minutes up from where we were filming, and this is the gorgeous Rannoch Moor. This is the road into Glencoe. Before you go into Glencoe, though, you've got all this around you, and you can camp on all of it too. It's beautiful. Of course, I might have to take the opportunity later on in the holiday to take a photo of the Rover on the Glenative Road, aka Skyfall Road. I think that's got to be done, perhaps. I think we need to show Liv Locative.
I think so. It's a bit of a
have a pack-up day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's going to be motorhomes and stuff down there anyway. So this is Rannoch Moor. You can probably see the road bending off into the distance before we drop down into Glencoe. It is quite desolate up here, but it's very, very beautiful. And there's snow. Snow. What the fuck am I doing? we go. We're now coming out of sort of the main part of Rannoch Moor, and the deer risk light was illuminating. Down in the King's house, there's quite often you see deer down there, and they'll come right up to you.
We were up here in October, we could hear them rutting.
Yes, we could hear them rutting in October. And we've got the ubiquitous motorhome in front of us, and just pan over now, just starting to see snow on top of the mountains. Absolutely fantastic. If it was a clear day, it would be absolutely stunning, but sometimes it's better to have a bit of a moody day. It sets the scene quite well. Yes. So you don't know how much the camera picks up, do you, till you sort of watch it, isn't it? No. Out of this part of Rannoch Moor into the beginning of Glencoe, you always feel like you're coming into Jurassic Park. It's crazy.
Full of campers.
Yes, campers there, wild campers. Either that or they're extremely hardy doggers. Well, it is a transit, more likely to be a dogger. Oh no, there was a dead deer at the side of the road. Could have had venison. So we're all shrouded in cloud at the minute. But it makes it absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
Whoop. That's the mud flap going again. We're riding a little low. And again. And just on the left here you've got the Glencoe Visitor Centre. And chairlift, which is brilliant actually, because the little waterfall that's going up there, you actually go alongside that, and then you can walk along the top ridge and go and jump in the river that's up there like somebody does, who will remain nameless but might just be holding this phone. There's some more snow there, all in Glencoe. This is I think the first time we've seen snow on it in this quantity. That's the Glencoe Visitor Centre in the distance, and it's a very, very good chairlift. Nice little calf as well. Very easy going. And there's Bell End in an X5. We are doing the speed limit, and to be quite honest, it's enough. Yes, and it's raining. It said it was going to rain today, but we've had little bits off and on, haven't we? Might just be able to see the ribbon of road snaking away there as we're now dropping into Glencoe. And with any luck we'll see Mr. X5 BMW in the ditch a bit later. That'll give us a giggle.
Oh, yeah, we're in the scenery.
And that over there you can probably just make it out. Oh no, you're lost. That's the King's house, which has just had quite an extensive refurbishment. It's hard to believe in this Glencoe that people were forced to walk through it with absolutely nothing during the clearances, during the massacre of Glencoe. You can't get your head around it. Snow! And here's another local coming up on our arse. And of course, further down this road is now then, Jimmy Savile Sex Pest's cottage.
Well,
Yeah, well, it's still down here. I can start getting excited now. Never did the bridge. And another wanker. Oh, got a nice coloured van, mate. Really nice. Yes, and he hasn't seen it yet. Look, the camper van's oh, he's just seen it. Yow, Bell End. Listen, anybody that drives a modified fucking plumber's van's a Bell End anyway. Oh, this roadworks signs on the Glenseed Road. Yes. It's lovely here. This is the kind of place you will never ever tire of. Where did Dingle Dongle go? Oh, did he turn off down Lock and Tea?
Yeah.
Oh, that's alright. Got rid of him. Fuck nugget. Not many walkers out today. Usually you see quite a good crowd of walkers down in the valleys. All in there, Alex. Yes. Talking about how efficient their carbon fibre walking poles are. Fuck off with your yellow car. Fucking hell. Get punched black and blue every time there's a pissing yellow car. It's something to do with Oxford, don't ask me. There we are. That's coming into Glencoe. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Snow! Just get up there, love, and get us a bit of snow for a bit of a wild cup of tea brewage.
No.
There's no need to say it like that.
You want snow? Get it yourself.
Yeah, get it yourself. We've done about 400, just under 460 miles. We're still showing just. Have you farted? Open the window. Honestly, I'm in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and somebody farts. Look, pterodactyl. Scottish Piper's not there.
I bet he's not.
I bet he's not.
Well, it's day one of opening, so.
Oh, it might be. Might be. Yes, this is Monday the 26th. It's day one of Scotland opening up to the rest of the UK, and practically every single caravan park we've seen since we've crossed the border has been full, which is good. It's good for the economy, and it's good to see things getting back to sort of near normal. Where's my Jimmy Savile Shagfest Palace?
Not yet.
The old rape dungeon?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's after the big, after the locks.
Oh yeah. Bit of snowy over there as well. Someone who will remain nameless has had a bit of a paddle around here, right up to his knees. So I could read a plaque on the other side of the road, and it was a dedication to somebody.
Dedication to a biker, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was dedication to a walker.
The can.
Not the crisps. Gary Lineker is a wanker. Did I say that? Oh yeah, there's the cairn. The cairn at the side of the road there. We've added our own stone.
Yeah. Walking a bit tonight, and this is where your plaque was, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it was.
Because I walked out to here and you told me off to tell me off. But
I told you off because you're walking in the road with oncoming trucks, basically. But you know, it's your skin.
Your plaque was just down there.
Yes. Yes, you will. Yes, and there's a bridge railing on the left just here, and it's one of those padlock tribute bridge, although all the padlocks appear to have been cut off, which is good because they looked a bit fucking tacky in my opinion. But there you go, that's just my opinion, but I'm right as usual. Here's Jimmy Savile's sex dungeon. Now then, I have here a little boy. Me and my friend Rolf. Grab hold of this. Can you tell what it is yet? Tie me little boy down. Sport. Tie me little boy down. Still boarded up. There is Jimmy Savile's dirty bastard pit. Yes, they were actually going to pull it down to stop people making it into some kind of perverse pedo shrine. I think it should be sacrificially burned with his corpse on top, but it's a bit late for that now. Don't you think? Oh, there's some cars in the car park. There's the valley there. Lovely. Oh, green is my valley. Wrong country, dickhead. Hey, Grumble Bunch.
Is the dog awake?
Yes, the dog is apparently awake. Well, so that's Glencoe. And there's usually a piper here. Oh, fuck my old boots. There's Japanese tourists. No, they were. Listen, they're people with differently orientated eyes with cameras. They're definitely Japanese. So we're here. We've been here a little while actually. We've had a good run up. We've done just shy of 500 miles and the car's still got over an 1/8 tank of fuel left. And there's a little Ernie bear somewhere. There he is. Ernie. Say hello. Say hello, Ernie. There we go. So he was brilliant in the car. He slept 95% of the time. And he was good as gold. Not a whimper out of him. So that's it. That's broken his duck. And this is where we're stopping. That's Loch Cregan. It's beautiful. It's a tidal sea loch. So you can actually see, if you're lucky, sea eagles, dolphins, and stuff like that. So well, we're going to chill out now and have some dinner, so see you guys later. Cheers! Yes.